so we're talking about books today. What's the most important thing? The books you've read or the books you're going to read? Building a library? I'm standing here in front of one of my libraries at work. I've got libraries at home. And I love what Jim Rohn said. He said, you know, you build a mansion later on in your years, man, woman builds this beautiful mansion. You walk in the front door of this gorgeous house, and to the right is a library. Why do all mansions have libraries? Is it because they got rich and suddenly they decided they should start buying books? Or do you think by the time they got rich, they'd read so many books, it takes a library to house them? I would argue the second, particularly because that's what happened to me. And so I haven't read every book in this library, but just owning them makes me feel smarter, right? Sometimes I buy the book, I put it up there, and I'm like, I may not read that, but I look smarter just because I own that book. But I just was, as I was getting ready to shoot this, I was like, just kind of look around here. Look at this. I have an emergency medicine radiology book, which is I'm an emergency medicine physician. I got a business book sitting below that, Extreme Ownership by Jocko. Great book if you haven't read that. Good to Great by Jim Collins, one of the great business books of all time. Just sitting here. Rich Dad, Poor Dad, Robert Kiyosaki. Great book. The One Thing. If you haven't read this book, you should read this book. Talking about the most important thing in your life. And I could just keep going through all of these books. Got this book, which is a great book, In the Shadow of Man by Jane Goodall. Amazing book about chimps and her time with them. And I could just keep going through all of these. And as I said, I haven't read all of them front to back, but I've perused all of them. I've been through most of them, and I've read most of them, a lot of them, front to back. Here's what I think. The more you can ingest, the more you can think about things, the more you realize everybody's got a slightly different take on things. And if I can just take one thing from each book and just improve my life a little bit from each book, you end up having an amazing life. A different way of thinking about things, a different way of thinking about the world, a different way of thinking about business, a different way of thinking about medicine, a different way of thinking about raising kids. Now, of course, the best book of all the books is Living Every Minute by Dr. Tim Reynolds. That's me. But if you go on to Amazon, seriously, it's a great book. But a lot of great books are out there. Here's the most important thing. Start. We've got a reading list at livingeveryminute.com. Go on there, check out our reading list. Start reading books. Start doing it. And just become a reader. You can do it several different ways. You don't have to necessarily get the hard book and read it, right? You can do it on an iPad or iPhone, but you can also get Audible and listen to it. I don't care. Some people, I love to listen to books. I can use it as time, right? I have Truck University. While I'm driving, I can listen to a book. It just changes the way you think about the world, and your education is never ending. Imagine an education that's never ending. Imagine how much you could learn if you just read 10 pages a day. 10 pages a day is 3,650 pages a year. That's 20 books a year, 10 pages a day. That'll change your whole life. So build your library, read books, become a constant learner, become an ever learning person for the rest of your life. Dr. Tim.